Goldeneye for the N64 is my favorite first-person shooter ever. And unlike most people, I enjoyed it more for the single-player game than the multiplayer one. The levels were very fun to play, but it was the hidden secrets within them that made them very fun to replay. Like, take the facility, for example. Now, who do you think would be the most dangerous person in here? You would probably think it would be the many guards that are roaming the halls. But you would be wrong. It's actually the scientists. They look all scared and helpless, but if you piss them off, they'll jam a bullet up your ass. Now, I will fully admit I'm kind of poking the bear when I'm dealing with the scientists, because I love just shooting them in the hand or the kneecap, because they will just go nuts when you get them angry. They are also crack shots, so you better take them seriously if you mess with them, because they are relentless. It's kind of sad that the smartest enemy AI in the game is the scientists. They won't stop shooting at you, they'll hide behind cover, they'll throw grenades to flush you out. You know what? Why not have these guys guard the place? I wouldn't be able to get past level 1. It's just so surprising. You don't expect them to get so aggressive, especially when the regular enemy AI is sometimes so oblivious. Look at this. I'm right next to this guy. I even bumped into him, and he isn't moving. He's just kind of in his own world. I'm sure in his mind he's like, la 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 la, I'm guarding this door. La 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 la, nothing in the world's gonna bother me. You know what? This isn't an isolated incident. I mean, look, I just blew up the security camera through a door, and the guy right next to it doesn't move. Is this just like a normal part of his day to have cameras explode right in front of him? Oh, another camera exploded. That's what happens when you buy Chinese. And I can't express how much I love Goldeneye for the N64. So I couldn't wait for the remake on the Wii. Now I'm going to fully admit, I'm going to be a little bit biased towards Goldeneye 007, since I do love the original game so much. It's not like it's a brand new game the developers were making from scratch. They were trying to improve on the original title. It didn't take very long in the first level to see that the developers were not going to follow the original game to a certain point, and that's really okay with me. I wasn't expecting a level-by-level recreation. They put in Daniel Craig as the James Bond in this one. I really didn't see the point in doing that since it was Pierce Brosnan who was in that movie. But it really didn't bother me though. I'm sure there's going to be some James Bond fanboy out there just so pissed off about it. Oh, I can't believe they changed it. That's like changing Shakespeare. Urgh. Personally, I don't think it added anything or took anything away from the game. I thought it was just kind of pointless. Now, for anyone who's watched my reviews before, I don't want to spoil anything, so I only show about 25% of the game. But this time it was also because of another reason, and that was that the levels were too long, and I just didn't have enough room on my hard drive to keep them all. You know, one of the best things about Goldeneye for the N64 was the quickness of the levels. Normally they would last about 5 to 15 minutes, unlike Goldeneye 007, which could easily be 20 to 40 minutes per level. The levels would often have blocked off areas that would make you zigzag back and forth through the buildings in order to get to the final location. When I actually finished the second level, I realized what game I was actually playing. It's Quantum of Solace 2. And while that's not a bad thing, since I did love Quantum of Solace for the Wii, it kind of had the same level design. And I wish the developers would have played the original game more, and realized that the game's popularity didn't come from stretched out gameplay, but fun and tight levels and good multiplayer. But more on the multiplayer later. The level designs were very confusing. They would often have you go through open areas, which might have multiple exits, but they were all locked. So this title has a lot of linear gameplay. Plus the game is way too dark at times. Did none of these locations ever hear of an invention called the light bulb? Thank goodness there was a pointer that would tell you where to go. The radar was very helpful in showing you where the enemies were and finding your way around some of these dark rooms. As much as I didn't like the long, dark level design, in parts it worked really well, especially when you get to a part where you have multiple ways of advancing on a location, and you have to find your own best way to get there. That was the best parts of these levels. Unfortunately, these parts were few and far between. Most of the time you had to follow the path they wanted you to go. Now this game is very challenging, even on the easiest setting. There were many parts where I would need to restart from a checkpoint and take a different tactic on a section. And I liked that a lot, because sometimes run and gun tactics just wouldn't work. you would need to put a little bit of stealth into your tactics in order to win a level, just like the original game. The enemy AI in this one was actually pretty smart. They would hide behind cover and advance on you. What I liked was that a lot of the cover that they or you would be hiding behind was destructible. So just because you're hidden, that doesn't mean that you or the enemy is safe. Goldeneye for the N64 was always known not just for its great single-player game, but also its fantastic offline multiplayer as well. And Goldeneye 007 is just as good. The offline split-screen multiplayer is fantastic. There are a lot of options to choose from, and I never had an issue with the frame rate. Now, I wish the same could have been said for the online multiplayer, but unfortunately it can't. The gameplay could get really choppy, and the lag was almost unbearable at times. Then at other times, it was fine. I played it at different times in different modes, and it was always a crapshoot if I was going to get a playable game or not, and that was really frustrating. Goldeneye 007 will always be rightfully compared to the original N64 title. So the question I have to ask is, did the developers do a good job in remaking the game? They did a great job of remaking the movie Goldeneye, even if it didn't follow the plot scene by scene. Overall, the single-player game has a very engaging storyline, with enough twists and turns to have veteran players still entertained. So I'm going to put my biases aside, and I'm going to say the game is worth a buy.